Alright guys, TouchCrab back again today, hope you're enjoying your Tuesday so far, and today we've got to talk about the Seattle Surge. This past weekend, the Seattle Surge home series concluded. They went 0-2, 2-6 map count, nearly as bad as the Florida Mutineers going 0-6 map count at their own home series 2 weeks prior, but it's pretty well renowned right now that Seattle are the worst team in the game. They have beaten LAG 4 times so far this season. That's the only thing that was keeping Seattle Surge afloat ahead of that 12th position in most people's power rankings. Now, a lot of people would flip that on its head and have them the worst team in the league. Incredibly dysfunctional, especially given the names on this squad earlier this season. They've clearly had some management issues in terms of trying to bring players into the team when they benched Enable earlier this season. They were forced to bring him back this event. Well, weren't really forced, but they did bring him back. It didn't go well. And we'll have to talk about exactly what they could even possibly do going forward from here, because rumor has it right now they may even be considering Octane going on to like a flex SMG role, which, you know, if that works for this team, like, fair play. I don't think it will. We'll talk about that in coming minutes. This was their results so far this season, but before that, like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. This month has been phenomenal for the channel. Let's keep it going, try and hit 20k as soon as possible, because we're getting very close right now. So these were the results so far this season. The only teams they're beaten at LAG, they're 0-11 versus the rest of the league. Just a disaster, and even this most recent event, they can only lose to the LAG. Obviously, maybe they improved to some degree, but still, all things considered, that's just it's just embarrassing, to be honest, for a team with the caliber of these players, the amount of rings you've got on this team, right? Karma with 3, Apathy with 2, like, yeah, just incredible, frankly. These are the results so far this season, a couple of top 6s. They did make a top 4, beating LAG twice at the Chicago event, 8th at their own home series. So look, it's just not looking good. And these most recent results, they lose to the Subliners 3-1, Octane has a 1.27, rest of the guys can't get close. They had Enable in for this series, then they played literally one series with him and benched him once again, brought Panda in, he had a horrible series, you know, again, and Octane has a 1.3 and they lose. Like, it's just a rinse and repeat situation with Seattle, an incredibly dysfunctional squad that we haven't really seen in the CDL for a long time. I suppose making it 5v5 encourages this to happen more often, right? But it's pretty crazy that we saw this from this squad, and we can look at the overall KDs courtesy of Cam Allen, links down below. Octane with a 1.3 over the season, rest of the guys struggling to get above a 1.0. That's over all of their matches the entire season, so really not what you want to see. So after this weekend, Slacked came out with the following, and this is where things get interesting. We didn't scrim for 2 weeks trying to get a new 5th. Come to find out it's impossible. Then we try Enable for a week because it can't get worse, and it got way worse. I think we went 6-39 in scrims leading up to this. Yes, the effort wasn't fully there, but we were so far behind. We don't even play the game semi-correct, so yes, no matter what we play, what player we play with, it's hard to do good individually. I think we flip spawns in a bad way more than any team in the game. So this is what Slacked says after they lose the weekend. And the crazy thing to me is we didn't scrim for 2 weeks. So clearly, Seattle were looking to get a player instead of Enable. They benched him earlier on in the season, right at the start. He played a couple of events. Then they benched him onto the sidelines, brought Panda into the squad. That obviously didn't really work out too well. They basically stayed at the same point. Maybe their search slightly improved, their respawn got slightly worse, and they were still losing to every team but the LAG with Panda in the squad. So clearly they were thinking, okay, we need to get a new, fast, aggressive player. I think Karma said it on Reddit that they were looking for a fast player, probably the likes of Pristini. But of course, Pristini, why would he go to a seemingly pretty dysfunctional Seattle team when he could just go to Chicago Huntsmen to team up with his brother? And supposedly Seattle were maybe working on that, but then you've got the whole salary cap issue that this team is probably incredibly highly paid given the names on this squad. Maybe the management don't really want to, you know, open their wallets once again to try and get someone else on the team. So there might have been a number of issues here in terms of players and management, and money, of course, being one of the big factors. So it turns out they can't get anyone, right? But you look at the Chicago team, during the period that they were working to get the Pristini move finalized, General was in the team scrimming with them so that when Pristini came into the squad, he could swap out for General, and they pretty much hit the ground running, and they've got a lot of practice the last few weeks. It seems pretty unforgivable to me to not be scrimming at all when you have players on your bench that would be able to take the place, as we'll look at in a second. So as Apathy says here, we had no one to practice with. Panda knew that we were basically chalking him, so we didn't want to waste waste his time, which is understandable. Then they told us that we weren't getting said player, maybe Pristini. We decided to go with Ian, that's Enable, and finally started playing again. Well, you know, as Martin says, Panda didn't want to waste his time. Isn't that kind of his job? But, you know, clearly this team isn't particularly well managed. This is their roster, right? So you've got the main 5 squad members, Panda and Proto. And this is where it gets interesting, right? Because Proto has been a player the last several seasons who I think has been a very up and down, inconsistent SMG, almost like Pristini, you could argue. And if they're in the situation of, look, we're trying to get Pristini in, maybe he'll join, maybe he won't, let's scrim with a guy like Proto who plays somewhat like Pristini, isn't as good, right? He's not a world champion, but he plays in that kind of incredible, fast, aggressive fashion. He's going to make space for your team. Some maps he's going to go double positive, some maps he's going to go double negative. That's what it is. But for some reason, they decide not to even try Proto in the team, and I really don't understand this, given you've signed him at the beginning of the season. This jet ski guy here says on Twitter, Seattle complaining about not having a fast player, but they have Proto on the bench. Never have they even tried playing a single scrim with him. Joey Nubsy says, you're such a troll, it's unreal. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm not trolling, right? Yeah, I know it's a team decision, but you guys want to talk about improve, then play with Proto, nothing to lose. And I agree, like, it's not a pretty mindset. This is Proto's tournament results over his career. Not exactly spectacular, but at the end of the day, you know, he's been a somewhat relevant force, right? Like CWL London, UYU coming top 12, Fort Worth as well, Las Vegas top 16. Back in the Infinite Warfare days on the E16, they actually had some pretty good results. You know, top 6 at Anaheim, top 8 at Stage 1 playoffs, you know, top 6 at the amateur finals on this Sicario thing. They came top 12 at Champs on the same team, right? So, you know, Proto has been a pretty relevant player the last few seasons. Obviously, there's a reason why they've signed him, and at times he can completely take over a game. He seems to be the type of player that a lot of teams are looking for right now, because you look at a squad like New York Subliners. They were the worst team in the game earlier on this season. The zero thing wasn't working, then Happy came into the team and they got worse. Then they bring Mac into the squad, this young up-and-coming like amateur player who just takes over the game and really helps them improve over time. And it definitely seems to me that if you look at this Seattle squad, they need some sort of major roster changes to make this work. Now, I'm not saying that's easy, right? Because given the whole, you know, management situation might not be great, money's an issue, contracts are an issue, it might not be possible to make like a 2-person change to this team. And even if you do, what do, right? Because right now you've got Enable out of the squad, Apathy, Karma, Octane, Slacked. I think really, you know, Octane, Karma, Apathy you have to keep. Slacked you could also make a good case to keep given the success he's had alongside Octane in the past. So I suppose Enable is the guy to swap out, and I would just give Proto a go in the starting lineup, right? This 5-man squad, even with Panda in the team, is just not going to work. It's never going to get significantly better. I think you have to at least make one roster change like they did with Mac, like Florida did with Ferro. Now they've got Awakening in the team that could have a similar effect to what Mac had on the New York Subliners. You give your team a new chance to gel, a new voice in the team, and a new opportunity to become better over time, because with Panda in the squad, this normal 5-man lineup without Enable, you're not going to get anywhere significantly better over time. I think that even if you can't make any contractual changes, you have to at least try Proto in the starting lineup and see if that works, because he is the caliber and the type of player that a lot of teams have improved with bringing into their squad, even if, as I say, maybe he's not exactly the caliber of some of the guys like Pristini. But, you know, that being said, it looks like Seattle are considering this move. I don't know, this seems like a joke at first. I'll play the clip on screen for you guys here from Cronut CDL Intel. Octane supposedly running an MP5, and he says it numerous times, as does, I think, Aches in the final clip. So it almost seems likely.
Takes a lot for me to run a sub, brother.
Wait.
But I'm doing it.
Are you actually?
Yes. Your silence tells all.
I mean,
your silence tells me everything I need to know.
I don't know what else to say.
What else to say? You didn't say anything.
Exactly.
Holy shit, bro. I'm running this up. Let's go. I'm actually being a realist.
Not realistic. We can still win. If EG could win champs in World War II, we can do anything.
Yeah, now that I'm running a sub in my full potential, it'll be real.
For anyone who thinks that it's a troll,
Joe, join up.
Octane is
God,
the
Stefan,
new
what are you
flex
doing?
for Seattle Surge.
That is correct. Stefan, what are
My
you
foot
doing,
has been
bro?
put
10
down.
gift, dude. Run, dude. So Octane doesn't come out and deny it anywhere. He doesn't say that this is not true. They're just trolling. Maybe this is some elaborate troll, right? But, you know, it's such a bad decision seemingly on paper that how can it not be a troll? I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, supposedly the rumor is Karma's coming into the main assault rifle, which, to be fair, we have seen in the past, Black Ops 4 previous seasons on the OpTic gaming squad, him saying that he preferred to run the main AR, and Octane running some sort of like flex MP5 type role, you know, using the M4 on maps like Azir Cave, but using the MP5 on other maps. I just cannot see how this is in any way a solution if you're not making a roster change. Octane is one of the best ARs in the game. The way he plays the game is designed to use an assault rifle. He doesn't play with auto tac sprint enabled. He doesn't, I think he just plays default. He doesn't even slide cancel very much because he doesn't have the, you know, the paddles on the back to mash to actually make that work. Maybe he's going to get that or whatever because, as he said right here, going to be a slide cancelling forward moving hydrocarbon. If you guys don't get this reference, it was from this tweet that someone made to Octane ages ago when he did like a Star Wars tweet or something. Someone replied with this, which I thought was kind of funny. So that's what he's referring to in this tweet right here. But yeah, he doesn't play in a way that would make me think he's going to be a good SMG player. You watch his videos and stuff, he's obviously designed to be an AR player. He doesn't have the, well, not necessarily doesn't have the movement or the gun skill or whatever. He certainly does. But I think the movement and the way he plays the game, the fact that he doesn't slide cancel very much and usually bunny hops is his primary movement, that's much more designed for an AR. And he's like a 1.3 AR player. Do you expect Karma to be putting up a 1.3 with the AR? No, I do not. Do I expect Octane to be putting significantly better than a 0.9, what Karma's doing right now with the SMG? I don't really, right, depending on the way he's playing on the squad. It just seems so crazy that your team is this dysfunctional that you're even considering moving Octane off the main assault rifle, given that he's still arguably one of the best assault rifles in the entire game. Just seems crazy to me that this would even be considered as a possible move, and I just can't see this working, right? Like, if this works, fair play. If this improves them up the pedestal a couple of ranks, fair play, right? But you look at a team like Subliners, they brought Mac into the squad, and now they're pretty comfortably around a top 6 team mark from being a top 12 team earlier in the season. I just can't see any world in which this team can improve significantly without making any roster change currently. And also, I can't see how this is the move. Like, you know, if this is an elaborate troll and I've just been baited, fair enough. But if this works for them and they somehow become like a top 6 team, I am absolutely mind blown. And I just don't think it's a long-term solution, right? Especially a guy that likes of Octane. It just doesn't seem like it's going to work. But yeah, maybe it will. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, thought this was kind of funny as well. Enable, you're going to bench me on another holiday, want to come back third time's the charm. So yeah, who knows what's going on with Seattle. It's just such a broken squad. Just to finish with then, on a little bit of a lighter note, wanted to mention that Mbos has released his first ever single over on SoundCloud. I'll leave a link down below. It's kind of funny. You know, is this a hit or miss from Mbos? Maybe this is the new direction we take on this channel, discussing Mbos' latest tracks. But it's kind of funny if you guys didn't see this already. I'll leave a link down below. You know, respect to my boy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you next time.